Okay, welcome back. We are at the 9:45 a.m. turn and a couple of notes. In case you remember at the end of the last file, we had a long column here, and I made a mistake because on the Rebel Order of Battle, there was a new order when Pender came out, and that was order number 4, which isn't a great order, but it is an order. Deploy into or along Knoxland Whistler's Ridge on both sides of the pike, and then go to order number 6. So they're supposed to deploy on this ridge on both sides of the pike. Now, it didn't say the whole division is supposed to do that. It just says that brigade is under that order. So I don't know if that means I'm supposed to put this brigade half on one brigade on this side, one on that side, another brigade on this side, another on that side, then move forward. Or if I'm supposed to put these guys overlapping and they're just supposed to march down this road. So I'm doing the second. Because it says deploy into line along Knoxland Whistler's Ridge on both sides of the pike, and then order number 4. And it doesn't say for the division, it's just under that brigade at 9:30 when it came in at 9:30 a.m. And Scales is going to have to do the same thing. And then they switched to order 6, which is move units capable of being in line to follow Heath's attack. The division cannot move into any hex of the Hare Ridge Road until issued new orders. So basically they can move up to here. That's it. They're going to sit back here kind of as a reserve until they get new orders. Now, we'll see. I mean, holy cow, moving in line, it's going to take forever to get there. So we'll see. Lee might even be showing up around that time anyway. So, but that's cool. That's kind of, I'm not really complaining about it. I'm saying that's the craziness with the orders where you can't just do what you want, right? You got to follow the orders. So I moved all these guys back, and they would have moved in line. These guys would have unlimbered, and these guys didn't have enough to unlimber because they can only use 6 moving points if they're going to unlimber, and then these guys are still off the map, these 2 guys right here. So these guys this turn will be able to go into line formation. These guys will be able to come out and then, go from there. So anywho, that brings us to the current turn. Oh, there was one other question I had. I put it on Board Game Geek, but no one's had a chance to look at it yet. Now, technically, I was thinking I would be rolling for Reynolds this turn to issue an order, but the rule states, I think it's around 10.6, that if you have an HQ, you have to be on that HQ to give an order. The HQ does not come on the board, I think, until this turn or next turn. So I took that as he can't issue orders, a new order. He has his free order that he did. We all saw that, right? Where we're moving everybody up to here. But so I'm going to play it that he can't issue an order because it says if you have an HQ, you have to be stacked with the HQ. It doesn't say the HQ has to be on the map. And I haven't gotten an answer from anybody on that yet. So it probably doesn't matter because I don't think the Union player would probably change his orders. Because if you remember, his orders were putting everyone kind of, I think, roughly on this line right here. And with Davis stalling, he's not going to jump up there, right? So that's where we're at. Okay, so let's get into the turn. So orders. Confederates don't issue any orders. They're all on their orders through the game that they're receiving right now. There's no attack recovery because there's no fluke stoppages that are during this recon and force. Okay? But we are going to start out with movement, and we are going to roll for Davis to see if he gets his rear end moving because Heath might start dragging his feet a little bit because otherwise he's going to crash into this stuff. Well, maybe he won't. There's not a ton there. If he can inflict some cavalry casualties, that would drive the cavalry off the board and open up the way completely. But I'm thinking that I'm just a little ignorant to the timing of everything and that he could even do that, but whatever. So, rolling for Davis's brigade. And he gets a 2, which means he can move half his movement point. So, 3 movement points. So, at least he's moving. Okay. So, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go. So, this would be 2. I don't know if I want to do that then. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. These little runs here don't do anything to movement, so we're good there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Would have been a lot better if he would have at least done that last turn. Okay, so those guys have all moved. Heath has to stay on the road, and he's got to stay. We'll see where Archer ends up, and then we'll move Heath up probably to like here. Trying to think what I want to do with Archer. So if I move and try to fire at these guys, well, they can't be fired at because they're behind that ridge. But if I moved in next to this guy and try to fire at him, which I can't because I'll move way over half my movement points. So I think we're just going to push with Archer a little bit and see what happens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now they can't see each other, so you don't have to make a closing roll. And I'm not going over a green hex side, so it doesn't cost any extra. So that would be 6 to there. And they can't fire, obviously, because they move more than half. But now they are running into some cavalry. And then that will give the Union something to think about next turn. Let's see. I'm assuming that's non-passable right there. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I could go 6 into there. So I think I'll do that. That's not a super-duper move or anything, but I'm trying to not let him get out too far. And also, he's kind of a weak little unit of 150 guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I don't necessarily want Archer. And you know what? He'll stay there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they can't see each other because of that ridge line. He could get in their face right here, though. So I think we're gonna try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now these guys only get to react if they're being charged or shot at, is my understanding. Why don't we look at that just to be safe? Special rules. I thought it was under special rules. I might have to. Oh yeah, open orders and sharpshooters. I looked right at it. 9.4. Okay. Open order units are open order only if they're not stacked with any combat units. If you're disorganized and routed, you can't be open order. Tactical flexibility is what we're talking about. 9.4E. Open order capable units enjoy several special abilities. Each could happen multiple times in a given phase. They can exit enemy zones of control freely when moving, provided the next hex entered is not adjacent to an enemy combat unit. In some situation, open order capable units are forced to withdraw 2 hexes if this is required. Neither the opening volley nor charge, if any, occurs. The withdrawal is not considered retreat for purposes of 3.4c. The active player moving stack must cease moving at that point. So if you're trying to charge them and they move, you're done moving. Or the fire would have occurred, or the charge's target hex, the moving stack cannot switch to another target. Withdrawals are required upon any fire or non-mounted charge against an open order capable unit that would require an opening volley. So basically, they're like a speed bump unless you want to hold your ground, and the Union does not want to try to hold their ground. So by moving here, I'm not going to get to do anything, but I am going to get to push them back. Unless they want to stand there and risk casualties, which they would not want to do because then they risk everyone leaving. That's my understanding. So if I'm doing that wrong or if I don't understand, somebody let me know. That's just Buford. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to push here on West McPherson Ridge and force them to make some decisions as the Union player. Davis is dawdling. So we will go back over here, and I guess we could fire. 2, 4, 7 guys in that hex. I think we're going to try to... Oh. We did not unmark those guys. How do I mark those guys? Not mark fired. Okay, they haven't fired. And there's 5 strength points there. So let's check. I think it's 15. Yep. So I think we'll fire this group first because we'll be on the 6 to 8 column, and it's going to be 3 shifts for distance. That's the only modifier we've had. So this right here is 7 total. We can fire up to 8. So 6 to 8, 1, 2, 3. So we're on the 1 column. So an 8 or higher will give us some damage. A 6, so nothing. So we mark them fired. These guys are a 5. So they start here. 1, 2, 3. So now we need a 10, 11, or 12. Nothing. So they get nothing. So this time we're dropping shells over here and it's not working. So we're pressing a little bit here. So it'll be interesting to see how that works and my understanding of the rule. Let's see. So he's got to be within 8. So if I'm here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, so Heath will move there. So he's with it. Well, we might as well just be 8, right? Be safe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's there. I guess all we got left is these guys that need to do their forming up. And, we got reinforcements. Let's grab those, because otherwise I tend to forget stuff if I don't see it on the map. So let's go to 3rd Corps, Pender. And this, I believe, is Scales coming on here at 9:45. Yep. So we got Scales right here. And then we got all his regiments. I apologize if the lighting behind me is kind of bright for you guys, but it's really nice weather right now. And I did have all of the windows open. There's some windows over here where the front door is and stuff like that. But so yesterday I started this video, and I ain't kidding you. Within 5 minutes of starting, and I was talking about correcting all this, and I put the reinforcements on there. There's a sunken spot across the street, the sidewalk, so the city pulls up or whoever, and they start jackhammering. So I'm like, okay, well, I might as well just start over because I'd only spent like a couple 5 minutes maybe getting this area set up and explaining this rule here and why that was done wrong and what the order was. And then the jackhammer started. So I just thought I'll just start over and then they were there the rest of the afternoon, so I didn't do anything else. But anywho, no big deal. Just get started here. So these guys have to form between here and let me double check that. Just want to make sure. I think they could be on the road, which didn't think I'd want to do that, but in 1860, yeah, they could be on the road if they wanted to. I don't think I'll do that because I don't like the road being blocked. But anywho, let's. These are some big regiments. Brockenbrough's pretty small, so this guy can just go right into line. This guy still had his column pushed out a little bit, right? So it would be 1 point to move in there, and then 1 point to flip over. 1, 2. I think I'm going to combine these two just while they're sitting here. So he'd have to facing change this way for 1, move here for 2, facing change for 3, flip over for 4. And I'm just doing that to save time, right? Same with him, except it would cost him 1 extra movement point, so it cost him 5. And then we got Brockenbrough. In column, you can change direction, so it'd be 1, 2, and this tail would be there. It would cost 3 to move his tail in, and then 1 to flip over. I'm going to put him there because I'm going to put that other one. So this guy will go 1, 2, 3, 4 to move the tail up, and then 5 to flip. And then we'll put Brockenbrough on top of there, and Pettigrew is up here. And then 1, 2, 3, tail moves in for 4, flip for 5. Oop, I duplicated him. Did I? Oh, I put some kind of marker there. What did I do there? I did a strength marker. So he can flip. I didn't know you could do a strength marker on here. That's good to know. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tail moves in for 5, and then he flips for the final 6. So these guys are now deployed, which was their order. They can now, once those next turn, they can move up, but they have to stay within 4 hexes of Hers Ridge. I don't know if it's Hare's Ridge or Hers Ridge. I think I keep changing it. So we'll probably do that next turn to get them moved up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to there. So we do have to be. There's rules when you're out of command. I think the rules are you just have to move toward command if you move. But we just have to make sure these guys are moving up with Heath then. So they'll get a little bit spread out until these guys start getting over on this ridge. All right, so we had pretty ineffectual fire. Davis is at least moving. Archer's pushing the attack. These guys have deployed. Now these guys need to finish deploying, right? So he can just flip now because his column is put away. This guy can just flip. He can walk his one in here. Plenty of movement to flip. This guy here is going to go 1, or that's a half. Then it'd be 1 to here. We pull the tail in for a half, and then flip over. Oh, he had 2 tails, but he'd be fine. We had plenty of movement to do that. These guys have 8 movement and haven't done anything yet, so 1, 2, 3, 4. It just says they have to deploy on this ridge. It doesn't say where on the ridge, because I'm going to start putting scales over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so they're all deployed. These guys don't go into line. They're always in open order. I think that was just a loud truck. I'm assuming there's no construction going on today, but if it gets loud, I'll go shut the windows and try and enjoy the nice weather. All right, so scales. Oops. Kind of pushes them off the screen there. So let's put all these guys just to see what we got. Now these guys came on, so that would have been 1, 2, and it would have been 2, 3, 4, 5. So this next guy moving on has to spend 3 movement points. So we're going to go 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, I got to flip him because he's in column. Okay, and then he'll have a tail that follows him, and he's going to stop right there. Then I think I'll do the same thing with this guy, so he'd be 4, 5, 6. 5.5. And make sure he's in column. And he'll have a tail. And then this guy will just get on the board, and he would still have a tail, but it's not on the board yet. And then we'll just put these guys over here because they're coming on next. And we'll put scales, like right here. Yeah, we'll face them the same way just because my OCD will kill me. All right, so they're basically starting to fan out on this road, and when these guys move forward, they'll cross over this road a little bit, and we'll start. It doesn't say I have to be equally, so I might just put one guy on here and stick out, and one guy on here overlapping and sticking out. For all I know, it just means the division could do that, where you put one brigade here, one brigade here, the next brigade there, the next brigade there, or whatever, but whatever. It also doesn't say they wait. So they're not 0-0, so they'll at least just get to move, and then it's a good thing there's no rolling for fluke stoppages, because these guys got a long trek to get over here. So I think that's it for the South. None of this got to attack because A, we didn't have enough movement points to move another hex, and B, we moved over half so we couldn't fire. So that is the end of the Confederate turn. Let's make sure there's nothing I'm forgetting. So that was movement and combat. Rally, I guess, so we can do our removing stuff. So let's take off all the moves, and let's take off all the fired markers. And there was no morale stuff, but if you weren't sure, you could just rally just in case. And that's why I'm thinking I'll use maybe the routed and the bloodlust ones on here just so I don't miss them. But we'll see. I really like how they're integrated into the counter. Now, because I was scrolled way down here, I really wasn't paying attention. So, which probably doesn't matter because if these guys, they're supposed to defend east of Willoughby Run. So following their orders, they would not cross Willoughby Run. Even though I didn't do that on purpose, I didn't think of that. But like if I was playing this, I'd want to swing around over here now and get behind the flank. Well, they don't have orders to do that. They have orders to defend east of Willoughby Run, anywhere east of Willoughby Run. So it is what it is. That's the beauty, I think, of the system, is you don't get to just do what you want to do. You got to follow your orders, which seems like a very subtle thing, but to me, this game isn't very complex as far as the combat. That's very simple compared to a lot of the other games I play. But the complexity comes into the orders and trying to coordinate all that. Okay, so 9:45. So the Iron Brigade released. Oh, but we are going to have some reinforcements for the North. So let's go put them on the board quick so I don't forget. So it's going to be double days. So we're in First Corps. This over here. Kind of wondering, Reynolds, I was thinking he was First Corps, but he's kind of a wing commander. So I don't know how that works. I'll have to do some checking to see if he could issue an order or not, because he's a wing commander. He's not the First Corps commander. That's Doubleday, who's coming in right now. So yeah, I'd like to know more about that. I'm going to post a thing on there talking about that, saying, okay, now I'm wondering, because he's a wing commander, but he doesn't have an HQ anywhere. So I got questions about that. Okay, so we got Doubleday. So I'm just going to put these guys from left to right here, and then we'll put them on here. Let's see, I got to find my spot. First Corps HQ. Boom. Wainwright, First Corps Artillery. We got Reynolds. Stewart, and Stevens Battery. And I believe that's going to be it. There's Wadsworth. This will be Robinson when he comes on. And Rowley. So that should be it. So basically, we got some artillery and the HQ's coming. So I do have some thoughts. And then what's their orders? Let's look at their orders. Their orders are... Oh, you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to... So their orders is the player can assign any desired hex for the First Corps HQ that makes sense with whatever orders that the First Corps 1st Division has been given at this point, but that hex must be on or west of Seminary Ridge and east of McPherson's Ridge. So with that in mind, I'm going to have to stop and check with my player, because remember, I have 2 players that are doing this. They're giving me orders, and have to see where he wants to put his First Corps HQ, and then I can continue. So we'll stop there, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching, and we'll break this up into 2 parts, I think, or else I'll combine them when I'm done after I talk to him. So it's just one video because it's not super long yet. 20, yeah, it's only 29 minutes. So when I do the Union move, it's not going to be super long, but I need to find out what he wants to do. So thanks for joining me, and we will talk to you here briefly once I find out what the orders are. Okay, welcome back. So this is the first time I've had to stop the video because the way this game plays, I have to check on command rolls. Now, I did post on Board Game Geek asking because Reynolds doesn't have an HQ. I think in the Confederate file I said we were going to not allow him to do an order, but according to Dean, he's a special case, and he's also not an Army commander for very long. It's just temporary. So he doesn't have to worry about an HQ. So he could issue an order. So I did make a roll offline for my general because we were actually playing a different game the other night. So I rolled for him and said, okay, you could place an order. He did not want to place an order. Excuse me. But that being said, we did have some stuff where some reinforcements are coming in. And he did have to tell me where to put the HQ. It doesn't really say that you give him an order. It just says that basically they have to go into a specific area. I'll read that to you. The player can assign any desired hex for First Corps HQ that makes sense with whatever orders 1-1 has been given at that point, but that hex must be on or west of Seminary Ridge and east of West McPherson's Ridge. So he did give me that. Now, I was talking to both guys. We were playing Walk Dem Rhine, and so all three of us were on there chatting. The two generals, Jeff playing the south and Clay playing the north. They want to watch the videos, so I'm not going to give specific orders. We'll see how that goes. I'm not going to give specific orders in the video, but we'll see how that goes. I kind of wanted to tell you guys orders. You'll have to tell me if that sucks or not. They said that if people don't like that they're fine with not watching the videos, but they kind of want to watch them too. So just give me some feedback on that, and we'll go from there. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and get some stuff done. Now, the first thing I want to do, because this will be the easiest, because I got to figure out what to do with that cavalry, is Reynolds with Cutler and Wadsworth here. They are in at the double mode, so they get to move 16 hexes regardless of roads or not. And if you remember, my orders from Clay were, and I already gave this in one, but this does, is I got to move up to here and then jump off from here to where I'm going to go defensive. So I'm going to do that. Now, no offense, Clay, so if you're watching this, I would not have done that. So this, and the reason I say that is not to be critical on Clay's orders, but just to show you the beauty of this thing where you have to follow the orders. So otherwise you get court-martialed and maybe shot. And maybe not as a general, but maybe. So I have to follow those orders. So I have this little X here. I usually don't like to put stuff on the map but it's nice to have that reminder. So let's do this first. So these guys are all just going to move in columns. So I'm just going to move the tip of the column, and then I'll grab everyone and move them up wherever they end. So what is it doing that for? That's weird. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So they're going to be trucking down that area right there, right? And I have my orders of where to go over here, but I'm not going to say where those are yet. Maybe that will work out good. I don't know. Okay, so let's do, this is the one thing I love about Vassal, right? So we're going to grab all these pieces. And we're just going to slide them up here where it's convenient to move them. I don't remember the exact route, but that doesn't really matter. So these guys are trucking. And at the double mode, if you remember, is a special mode to try to deal with some of the timeline issues so that these guys will get there in a timely manner. And let's see, when I'm going to turn these. Turn all of these. Let's see if that'll work. That kind of works. All right, so we'll do it that way. So they're trucking over to their place, which I cannot give away because they're going to be watching the videos later. But that's those. Now I'm going to come down here because I got the Iron Brigade, which broke camp after they heard the sound of the guns. And it just so happens they can move 16 because they're on a road. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to move the head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. And I'm going to grab all that. There's a long column. We're going to move that up behind here. Did they not? They did not get to the... So they got to get up here before they can go in at the double mode. Now, it doesn't matter because my orders have them going up to here anyway, but just for the technicality. All right, let's get everybody on the road. Okay, now these guys are going to go into column, or not column, they're limbered. I don't think an HQ limbers. Nope, that's skedaddle. What does an HQ move? I think this is the first HQ I'm bringing on the... I don't remember. I'm going to guess it's the same as a leader, but because it's an HQ, but I'll look that up later if I need to. So let's move these dudes. I don't know if I count that X or not. I don't think so because there's no numbers in that. So let's do that. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, you don't because there's the 8 right there. So these are little handy dandy little mile markers, so you know you can just jump to the next one because that's 8 movement points. Now, it's every 4 guns is a road column, and these batteries have 6 guns in them, unlike our southern ones I'm used to dealing with so far. They only have, a lot of times, their little sections are only like 2 or 3 guns, so these look like full batteries. And we'll put all these leaders at the head of that column. Mind shutting that door there? It creeped open. Lock it. Jared did call while I was doing this, by the way, if you want to call him back. Tell him I will contact him after the video. So these guys are like right behind this column, so we're starting to move. So it's going to be interesting to see if these guys get here on time. I don't know if they're going to get there on time or not, to be honest with you. Okay, so we moved all the guys way down here. And those were the reinforcements for this turn. And I have my location from Clay on where to put the HQ, which I will not reveal in case Jeff wants to watch the video. Now I got to deal with this whole thing. Okay. Oh, anyway, I should go through this. So the command phase, so we have our orders. So I'm following orders. There's no orders that have been issued really. The HQ coming on isn't really an order. It just says it has to be, you have to say what hex you're going to put it in. So there's no attack, recovery, or fluke stoppages going on right now. So we kind of got to skip the command phase because Clay just had to tell me where he wanted his HQ, and everybody else is under orders. And Reynolds did make it. I did make that order roll, but nothing has really changed that much. So Clay was just going to wait. So now we're at the activity phase. We already moved the columns. So now we have this to deal with. So my understanding is open order troops, if you move and try to fire at them or move and charge at them, they get to react and they get to run away. We can't take any casualties of this. This is sort of like there's some veteran players of the series. I'd love to hear how you handle this because I'm not sure I'm handling the cavalry tactically right, but this is my plan. As the defender, I don't want to engage because if I take a casualty from fire or melee, I have to start rolling to see if the whole cavalry leaves. As you can see, I have a little bit of time I need to hold. I'm guessing about 2 turns before Reynolds gets his first brigade up here, right? So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm not saying that's where they're going. I'm just seeing how far he could get. 14, 15, 16. So he can get up to here, which means next turn I'd have to deploy, right? Because I got to get deployed because I'm going to be fighting. And we can't let the Confederates get to any of these hexes because that will open up some good stuff for the South. Now, if they get there, they don't have to hold it. They just have to get there as like a high water mark. So we can't let them get there. And I'm not going to tell you where he's going. He could be going here. He could be going up here. But I was just counting to see how far he gets. And he's only going to get into this area right here at the most. So it's going to be interesting to see how this order plays out. And that's only 1 brigade. Now, Davis is chunking along, and who knows if he even moves next turn. And Archer's brigade is not very big. But that being said, let's deal with the cavalry. So now I'm going to swing Devon's brigade down here. Now, the beauty about this open order stuff is they can kind of move them sideways because they can make free facing changes. So I'm not going to do every little facing change because it just slows it down. But I got to figure out where I want to put these guys. Now, there is some artillery that could fire. So let's just check out to there. So basically, gets too far out, it's not going to matter. But we want to slow these guys down. I don't want to get within 4 hexes because they can shoot at me for free then. And if I start taking casualties, so I need to stay away from that. So, but at the same point, I just can't let them run willy-nilly wherever they want. So I'm going to move Devon down. We're going to move him down. And I think I'm going to try to get him so he can threaten Archer a little bit here so Archer can't get too cocky. But, oh boy, see, the more straight you get, the further out. Like up here, you got to pull it back, right? So as we get out here, I mean, that's pretty long range, not likely to do anything, but my goodness. All right, so let's go ahead and move these guys. So they move 8. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now that's behind a crest line, so they can't be shot at. So he moves 7. Let's see where this gun could fire at. He could fire at that crest line right there. But he can't fire at this one, I don't think. So let's go look at, well, he could with, I guess you can only technically look at the top. So there's a howitzer and a Napoleon, but I also know they can fire 30 if they're rifles. So unless I hide behind this ridge, do I want to do that? Hide behind one more ridge? Yeah, I think I'm going to do that just because then that way if they start pushing in, I could always counterattack if it gets ugly. Got to keep these guys honest. But I also want to hold these guys up a little bit, I think, too. Now I have to keep them within 6 of him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm wondering, so I could have a guy here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 1630. Well, we know that rifled guns, and we technically can't look at anything other than the top unit. So I'm going to try to do that, even though I'm looking at both stacks solitaire. Because I honestly don't remember where rifles and Napoleons are. So, I think what I want to do is probably put one guy up here to keep Davis honest. I really wanted to leave a guy forward, though, so he'd have to deal with that. I don't think we'll do that, though. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's, obviously well within 6. And then this guy, I don't know if I have to do that, though. He could stop up. Let's do that. Let's put him there, so he's behind that ridge, right? And then let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that way if Davis does get a full roll and comes rolling up here, he's got to respect these two because, you can't let them just whip around them because they can move anywhere in this area and defend. So it's not like they have to. That's what I'm thinking. So I'd love to hear from you. Some of you, I'd love to see a video on just this part of the battle to see how to use the cavalry, right? I think I'm using them correctly, strategically, where they're not going to take losses. Now, we don't want Bufford to risk getting captured now. He's been enjoying the spot. So let's move these guys and see where they end up. Caleb's battery is just going to wail on these guys if they can. So we got John Burns up here. Now, so this is where open order is a little different. If these guys were regular infantry, they're locked into fighting. You can't just back up, right? Unless you're skedaddling or, certain things. But these are open order troops, so they can. They can just say, we're out of here, mount up, pull out. So we're going to pull behind this ridge line. We're going to force these guys to move up, and then when they try to fire or do anything, we can react. Right? So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. These guys are going to go 1, 2, 3, and then moving in the railroad gap, 4, 5, 6. Caleb's battery is going to try to wail away. Man, they're going to have to dig their heels in pretty soon. We really need to hope that Davis doesn't get a move. 1, 2, 3. So they're all pulling back behind this ridge line. Because if I sit on this ridge, then they can just fire at me. And if I start taking casualties, that'll be bad. Now, he ignores the woods, I think, but I'm not sure on that. So let's look at that for movement. Wood hex, no effect. But we don't want him to get cut off or have problems. I was going to try to dig into this woods a little bit, but it's like, that's not optimal because, these guys are going to be moving slow. This will cost them 1, so that'd be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get to there. Or if they go this way, they only have a little bit, but they still have these ridge lines. Now these still affect us. But they're only 1. So we got better movement, but I really wanted to try to hold this up a little longer. I just don't know how to do that without cavalry starting to take casualties, and that's bad. So 1, I'll say 2, because I think when you move on this at all, it's a penalty. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. He's got to be with Gamble. 6, 7, 8. All right, so we're going to spread out, try to make them think about their flanks being threatened a little bit. Now we still got Bufford to move, which we need to move. So let's go ahead. He has like 12, so he's just basically going to get back here. And I guess technically he was here. Well, that's what they think, but you don't have to go there. But let's go. Oh, we got Caleb too with his battery. I think we're going to put him with his battery at this point. And if I get over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's still within 8 of Devon. So let's do that. Let's go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he rides across the front as he's seeing the rebels. And he's not afraid of them. He ain't afraid of them rebels. All right, now we got Caleb's battery. It's not going to move, and it's out of shot and shell, but it is not out of canister. Unfortunately, both these dudes in front of him are a B, so we're going to take a shot at this 7th Tennessee, because that's canister range. And if you notice, I can't move off the deal because it'll go away, but the little ammo with the no ammo was for shot and shell, and we've lost 1 battery, so we have 5 strength that can fire canister. So if we go up here to the combat chart, now these are rifled, all right, so it's normal density, and if you look on here, normal canister is effective to range 3, and it's 1 to the right. So we start with 5 guns. Can't see them now, but there's 5 there. And that's going to shift to the 6 to 8 column because of the canister, normal canister. Dense canister, we would add 2 to the right, but we don't get that. There's no issues with the range because you have up to 5 before you get a shift. And that's the only modifier. So just to show you again, we have 5 guns, 2, 2, and 1, because that little, I don't know why I point at the screen like you can see it. That little 1 there on the Sergeant Perigle's battery means he's been reduced. Okay, so there's 5. So we start here, we get a shift to the 6 to 8. So we need at least a 5 for a morale check. I wouldn't even have a problem rolling for an ammo thing if I could whale on 2 of them because we got to do some damage before we got to pull out. So let's take a roll here. A 9. That's got to be respectable. It's a 1. And that's a canister depletion. So blue, if you roll blue and you're firing canister, that's an additional chance for that you have an ammo depletion. Well, it's not additional, you do have it. The orange is only if you're doing shot and shell and canister. So we're on the 6 to 8. We got a 9. Dang it, we just had 1 more. We'll take it though. So decrease strength. So he's now 4. We got to randomly decide. Okay. So I'm going to go top to bottom with a D6. Oh, it's the same gun. So now this gun is completely out of ammo. Let's see. Is there one for both? Ammo shortage type. That's canister. That's both. Nice. So it just happens to be the same gun. Unfortunately, it's 2 guns. So they're just going to have to pull out of there to next turn. But they fired here. Okay, so now we got a morale check. So we go over the morale check. We're a B. So let's look at the modifiers. There's no leader modifier. There's no shaken, wrecked, rear, small, cowardly legs, night, artillery, or cavalry. There's no positives like stone walls or anything. So it should just be a straight up roll. So B column, we want an 8 or less for the south, and the north wants them to roll high. They got a 9, so we got what we wanted. They're shaken and back one. Now, they didn't lose any more strength, but they are shaken. So that's not going to hurt them too bad. I think we'll just back them straight up, and we'll change them to shaken. Okay, so it would have been nice as the north to get another. So I feel like I'm in this weird mode where whenever I'm the attacker or when I'm shooting, I want devastation and good stuff. So when the Confederates come back next turn, I'm going to be rooting for them to get that cav, but whatever. No, I think the other thing is, I'll have to look this rule up before I do the next turn. I think if they move and then try to shoot at the cavalry or charge them, that if the cavalry moves, they're done, I think. So we'll have to see if that's right or not. Because that would be the benefit of the cavalry. But So then I didn't want to stay in this woods down here because I didn't want him to swing around and cut me off and cause problems. I should have probably stayed in that woods, but whatever. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? I went the cautious route. I tried to threaten the flank, whatever. So the Union finally gets to draw some blood on the infantry. We've had this good fighting going back and forth early on, so it's been a little over an hour in game time, and casualties are starting to mount up a little bit. Okay, that's it. I'm going to merge these two videos, so I had to do it in two different videos. So I got some software. I got downloaded the free DaVinci Resolve software. That's good for editing and stuff, so I'll be able to merge these two videos, and I'm going to start. I don't know if I'm going to do it every time because I'm kind of lazy on this. I just want to get the videos up for fun and not like doing this professionally per se. But I might start taking off that beginning where you see the OBS thing and then I shrink it down. But I know I'll do that when I have to combine the videos because I got to do some editing anyway, so I might as well do it while they're in there. Because then you have to like export it into a new video file. That all takes time. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's it. I think we're done. Let's take a look at the chart. Just make sure there's nothing we forgot. Well, I guess it's nice to look at the rally phase, so I know that I'm going to take out. Oh, let me double check. Excuse me. I had some coffee, so yeah, everybody moved. Boy, those guys seem like they're far away. So far. Okay, so everyone moved. Remove markers. I guess I didn't put the fire one, but we'll remove it just to get in the habit of it, and we'll rally any USA units, but there were none to rally. So yeah, we're good to go. I don't know. I'm having a really good time. It's such a fun little system. The combat is not complex at all. The complexity comes in trying to coordinate your attack. I think that's beautiful. I like the simplicity of the combat. This is also sucking me back into the old Civil War Brigade series. I want to start doing some of that. I did pick up a copy of Seven Pines and a couple other games. I prefer the regimental because I like the tactical feel of that, but this written orders thing has kind of got me. So the Great Battles, the American Civil War is a wonderful system, and it's one of my favorites, and I would say this is now one of my favorites too. So I have two Civil War series that I can play pretty much whatever I want and enjoy. And I'm going to try to put my time and effort into those because I really like them. Okay, anyway, I'm just babbling. So this is a shorter video, so that's good. So thanks for joining me. We'll get this one posted up, and then I'll get the next Confederate turn done, and then we'll see what the Union leader, if he makes a command roll, if he wants to do anything. And then I think it's about 1 o'clock before Lee gets here, so that's going to be a little while because we're only at. Oops, this is the 9:45 turn, so we're coming up at 10 a.m., so Lee ain't getting here for a while. So it's going to be up to all of this stuff, trying to push forward. Again, they're really restricted. They're really scripted on what they get to do, so we'll see what happens. Okay, thanks for joining me. Talk to you later.